Sure.
we need to
We
better
need
align.
to be aligned, yeah, right. Huh.
Is everybody coming tonight?
Safety equipment.
Jenny said she might be on
Has
schedule, so she was going to join
Right.
virtually. No one else said anything.
Huh.
Okay.
PD. But it's gonna hit and miss.
Right.
I already go to the AEA.
Oh,
It's the AEA. It's on, so
yeah.
still processing it.
What? Okay.
I don't think so. Well,
You doing there?
Good and stuff.
Mr.
I
Tom.
think part of
Hey,
it.
Tom. Hey, Jim. How are you?
Oh, yeah.
Good, you?
Goes to
Another day in
Step
paradise.
away.
Yeah.
Like Angie and Scott.
Thank you.
You know, not really anything we don't do. Yeah, don't.
Good job.
Let's hope we don't have a repeat.
Are you checking YouTube? Are you checking YouTube?
Yeah.
It started. How about that?
Looks like it.
All right. Yeah.
That's fun. I think you're like me, that's the most terrifying part of the whole thing.
Yeah. I do pretty well memorizing, but once I get on stage,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. The lines. There's a lot out there.
Is Jenny logged on?
Come up with
Is Jenny up logged on?
Not yet.
No.
there's that initial moment of pain. It's
Yeah, 5:30.
I do.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to call a special, Board of Directors special meeting to order. Would I have approval to approve the agenda, or a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda? I'll
All
second.
right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda of the special meeting as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right. You want to
Yep.
say- Okay.
Yep. All right. So for the special meeting, is what we're approving, we came to a settlement, the Sibley Washington Education Association. I want to thank them first before I get into the specifics of working with them and the relationship. They were really easy and simple to work with. She'll join in a second. That was Jennifer. They were great to work with, and I want to thank the Finance Committee for their work. They spent a lot of extra hours and looked at a lot of data for Jamie and Arthur. Appreciate that after some of our meetings, some extended sessions, so both sides appreciate that. So overall, with the Sibley Washington Education Association, with the teachers, the overall package is at roughly 4.91% increase, not including FICA and IPERS. When you factor everything in, with insurance being a little bit lower than some of the other things, it came to about a 4.549% increase. We would also, as a part of that, increase the supplemental base for our coaching and advisor contracts from 34.5 to 35.5. in the agreement, that's not what I wanted, excuse me. The agreement here raises our starting pay from $50,000 to $50,500, and I'm working with the finance committee some things, but in short, just to start, it's not going to fully answer, but to address some of our compaction that we worked through, doing a few steps for this year, not that it's a permanent salary schedule, but just some steps here to separate those teachers that have under 12 years. Is it on Sunday?
Yes.
Under 12 years experience, to kind of separate that out, and then likewise did that kind of for those that were experienced above that to get them above 62, because we had two groups. We had a lot of people with under 12 years all kind of compacted right at 50,000, and then we had a lot of people at that 13 up to 24, 25 years, all at that veteran minimum of 62. So taking some time this year to kind of look through that and trying to address that as best we can right now. So that's kind of the summary of it, the biggest change than just a normal typical increase. So the Schedule B, when I said the base increases, Schedule B is what we pay with our advisors and our coaches, and that's all up. It's a percentage that's based off the base right up here, and the percentages are on the side, so then it kind of shows the amounts in the attachment here, but that's how that's calculated. So coaching or advisor salaries don't go up unless you increase the base, the supplemental base that's called. So we're increasing that by $1,000. So I want to thank both sides, appreciate their work on that. So that's kind of the summary of the overall agreement without going in line item with every attachment here, but any questions that I can answer on that? Alrighty. I think it's back to you all. We need
Okay,
to
so no, no questions at all on. All right, would have a motion to approve the negotiated settlement with the Silvio Cheatham Education Association.
I make a motion to approve the negotiation settlement with SOEA.
I'll second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to approve the negotiated settlement. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, so since that passed the agreement, then we would need to approve the issuance of teaching contracts for the next school year, the 26-27 school year.
Make a motion to issue the 26-27 teacher contracts.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 2026 and 2027 teacher contracts as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
And then likewise, we would need to approve the issuance of the coaching, advisors, directors, sponsors, all those things on Schedule B, issue those contracts as well.
I'll make a motion to get the contracts for supplemental coaching contracts.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to authorize the issuance of 2026, 2027 supplemental coaching contracts as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and now to some of our positions outside of that, our administrative assistants, kind of the office staff, the people that kind of run our buildings here, it's proposed to do a 6% increase to their hourly pay.
I'll make a motion to approve the administrative assistants, staff wages and insurance for contracts.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the administration assistant staff wages and issue of contracts. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes.
And then for our non-certified staff wages, hourly staff, it would be a 5% increase, and then raising our starting pay up to $15 an hour.
I'll make a motion to approve the non non-certified staff wage contracts.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the non-certified staff wages and issuance of contracts. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Alright,
All those opposed? Motion passes.
The bus driver contracts, we pay them per route. There she is on there. Can you hear me, Jennifer?
Yep, I can.
Perfect. All right, for the bus driver contracts, the routes are currently paid at $55.50. We have 7 routes. Increasing the pay and trying to get to a round amount, it just works out better for calculation wise. So going to $58.50 was a 5.4% increase roughly on the routes. And then the activity routes that we pay for our drivers for the activity routes, shuttles, things like that, going from per route from $22.75 to $23.75 is at a 4.4% raise.
Motion to approve the bus driver wages and insurance contracts.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the bus driver wages and issuance of contracts. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
And then food service is similar to hourly, but we just approve that separately because that's paid out of a different fund, the nutrition fund. But that would be like our other hourly staff to recommend increasing their hourly wage by 5% and increasing the starting pay to $15 an hour.
I'll make a motion to approve the food staff wages, insurance, and contracts.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the food service staff wages and issuance of contracts as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And then, sorry, mine froze there for a second. Food service, all right. Administrator head salaries. This one, the average came to 6.681. This would be those that are on salary, have year-round, or salaried contracts, excuse me, where that's coming from. Some of the ones to explain, we have some that are paid per diem, and I'll use Kendra and Tony as example with year-round contracts and recommendations and looking at their experience. Their per diem was actually less than what we're currently doing to our veteran teachers at their minimum at $62,000. So this was to raise them up to get them to that level. And then in looking at data with the finance committee as well, and just seeing where some of our other administrative positions were at relatively compared to their peers and different increases, that's where these recommendations have come from overall.
All right, any discussion on that?
Make a motion to approve the administrator and department head salaries of insurance contracts.
I'll second.
Okay, so moved and seconded to approve the administrator and department head salaries and issuance of contracts. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. I think that's the last one.
Yep.
All right, will there be
I'll
a?
make a motion to adjourn the special meeting.
All right. Second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn this special meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, we are adjourned.
All right, start the regular meeting.
Okay, we'll jump right into the regular board meeting. All right, I'd like to call the regular March board meeting to order. Would have approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, I'll go around and read the 5 school board basics. Put students first.
Follow the law and your own policy.
Let's see. Respect the chain of command.
Base decisions on shared objective information.
And operate in the public eye. All right, visitors. Is there anybody?
Not for public forum.
Not for public forum, all right. Okay, moving on to the consent items.
There was a few extra bills that were part of that came in today. Most of them were all pretty normal things. I don't really have anything else to add
Okay.
for the report.
Any other questions on the consent items?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? All opposed? All right. Consent agenda items passed. All right, administrative reports. Mr. DeZale.
Yeah, so excited to be able to connect with our families last week at parent-teacher conferences. We had a very good turnout, as you can see by some of our statistics. A couple things I'd like to point out. We were unable to contact 7% of our families, just 20 students we didn't have any contact with. And I would say it's not for a lack of trying. Super proud of the staff and their efforts to try and connect with all of them, and unfortunately weren't able to get them all, but we were able to connect with about 92% of those. Well, 88% of those was completely in person, and so the face-to-face communication and the connections that were made and the relationships that continue to be built was a great thing. And so yeah, just very, very proud of the staff and the parents that made the effort to come and connect in regards to their children's education. So also continue to implement community service opportunities for our high school kiddos, supervising students and siblings in the lunchroom while we do conferences. I think that's a great service. We see a lot of kids that go in there for a little bit, and so we have some activities for them to do, and the high school kids supervise and kind of participate in those activities with them. Not real structured, but opportunities for parents and teachers then to just have open and honest communication, a little less interrupted sometimes. And so it's been a good service. So thanks to Mr. Hertz and the high school students that were willing to volunteer in there. It's a good service, I think, for our families. A couple weeks ago, March 2nd, special thanks to Catherine Nazars with the Sibley Public Library, for coordinating our Read Across America Day, where we had community readers come into each of our classrooms to take a little bit of time out of the class's day and also their own day to just simply read to our students and emphasize the importance of reading. We had a fun week of dress-up days as well to kind of celebrate that Read Across America in conjunction with Dr. Seuss's birthday, but more broadly just that Read Across America event. And so yeah, real fun to do and continue to emphasize the importance of reading and the enjoyment that it can bring. So we're looking forward to giving our ISASP assessments here in the middle of April. will take a couple weeks. Third grade is going to take 1 week, and then fourth grade will take the following week, or the other way around. I think fourth grade will go first the week of April 13, and then third grade will go the week of April 20, kind of trying to make sure that we set aside the appropriate amount of time and prepare for those tests adequately, go through some goal setting with those kiddos, and yeah, kind of, especially with the third grade, it's their introduction to these tests, and so getting them assimilated to the testing environment, the online tests, and some of those kind of things. It will be interesting to kind of see scores this year, as this is the first year that we are taking a leveling test, and so it kind of adapts and adjusts based on how you answer questions, whether you get them right or wrong, and kind of guides students. And the assessment really is based off of the correct and incorrect natures of the students' answers. So it will be interesting to see kind of how that affects our proficiency scores and some of those kind of things. So. And then we're working through transitions, planning for next year, staffing, and preparing staff for next year's students, and talking through schedules and handbooks and all those kind of things as we get ready to wrap up this year and look forward to next year. It seems crazy to mention some of that, but trying to lay the groundwork in place to continue some of the successes that we've seen. So, and then PD time. A lot of our MTSS processes, our mentor-mentee program, even some curriculum time. Very thankful that we were able to get the math curriculum purchase on the books, and not on the books officially financially, but check that box, and thankful for that team's involvement there. And we're starting to work on. I'm starting to try and schedule out trainings and what that looks like and how we can effectively implement that for next year. So that's been part of our PD time. And then our staff attendance, daily attendance, and PD attendance is also listed in there. So any questions?
All right, thank you. Mr. Hertz?
Yeah, hard to believe 1 quarter to go. The year has kind of flown by. I don't have hard numbers for conference attendance. We've tried a lot of different things, just trying to get more people in, but still struggling, especially at the high school. I'd say probably the lowest attendance we've had since I've been here for this spring conference. I don't have the hard numbers yet, but a few handfuls of parents came through. So we did have really good turnout at an 8th grade registration meeting that Teresa Ruggles put on. So grateful that she organized that and communicated with those parents, and we had a good turnout. Grateful for those parents for coming in. So we'll keep brainstorming different ways to get people in, but I think it's just several factors contributing to it. You can check grades online. High school students more independent. Yeah, so if we figure it out, I'd be glad to share it, but right now I don't know if we have it.
Because we have been kind of trending the right way on that up until, haven't we?
Yeah, I think our fall attendance was better, and maybe that's some of it too. More came in the fall, and so now fewer in the spring. I'm not sure. We tried unscheduled and in the Commons, which we had done before COVID, and that didn't seem to get more people out. So I don't know if we'll continue that or not. That'll be a discussion I'll have with the high school BLT and Mrs. Schuler with the middle school BLT.
It was nice from a parent's perspective. Like, the open forum is so much nicer.
Yeah.
You
That's-
liked the open?
Yeah, because
Better.
you're trying to, when you have kids in
Multiple.
2 different schools, trying to schedule them is difficult.
Tricky.
So it's nice to just be able to walk through, and you could be up in the high school, go down to the middle school, come back to the high school. You're not
Yep.
waiting 15 minutes because that's your time and you don't want to miss it. And
Yeah, I think that's some of the feedback we've gotten in the past. right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, and that's why we made that switch to go unscheduled and a Commons format, and we just didn't see a big increase in attendance. So we'll see if we continue that route or not, or if there's other things we want to try. But yeah, envious of the elementary's attendance and the connections they make, because I think it just goes a long way for school morale and just getting community support, and it's definitely good for student outcomes and for students to have parents in for conferences. So that's something we want to do better. It's just I'm not quite sure how to do that yet.
So can I, from a parent's perspective, do you have a lot of kids, like, you know, when you're in the elementary school, it's the beginning stages. You want to make sure you're building that foundation. As you get to high school, you're right, they're more independent. Do we have, you know, a lot more kids in high school that are just succeeding in general, so the parents don't feel the need to check in?
I think that's some of it. Like I said, you can check grades online. You see your students doing okay, passing classes. It does work the other way. We do have some who definitely are struggling and trying to connect with parents and
Yep.
yeah, just not having success. So,
Okay.
but we'd like to have those positive conversations
Right.
too. You know, the straight A student and their parents coming in, and it's good to build that positive connection as well. So even if kids aren't struggling, it'd still be good to have that. So, yep, something we'll keep working on. But definitely, if you have thoughts or have talked to other parents and they have suggestions, send them my way. I'd love to hear them. Final adjustments to the DCAP are happening. That's due April 1st. Had a lot of success the last couple weeks filling positions, and there's several that are going to be approved, you know, hopefully tonight. So very excited about that. We had some really good candidates interview, and had several that we would have felt really good about hiring. So we kind of get to pick, you know, the best of the best out of that group, and just happy with how interviews went and the candidates that we had apply. So thankful for that.
We're smirking because that doesn't happen.
I was going to say.
You don't always have multiple candidates the last few years, so.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, activities, spring practices are underway. It'd be interesting to see this week. You have blizzard Sunday and 75 degrees Monday, or Friday, so it'd be quite the change here. Band and vocal just had concerts recently. Large group speech is wrapped up, and then individual speech had 25 performances, and 18 of those were rated ones, which is good. So yeah, just excited for those activities happening now, and definitely a busy time of year for our high school and middle school students, with middle school spring sports getting started here soon. A lot of planning for next year happening. BLT recommended with success that teachers rotate with their kids at the high school. So if you're a teacher now that has freshman students, you're going to have those kids again as sophomores, and then the next year as juniors, seniors, and then you would start back at freshmen. So we'll keep that rotation. Part of the logic behind it is just building relationships with those kids. It's pretty small groups, and a lot of the things they're working on are those DCAP, ICAP. What are you going to do after high school? What's your life looking like? And we just feel like good for them to have one contact point for that throughout high school. Definitely a lot of planning for scheduling, course offerings. Mrs. Schuler has been working very hard on the middle school master schedule. Systematic-wise, how it works, we have to have the middle school master basically done before we can build the high school master, because there's so much sharing. The middle school master is built, and then kids are added to that master. It works the opposite way. Kids register in the high school, and then based on registrations, we build the master. So I don't know how many sections or what electives we will or won't offer necessarily, based on we don't have kids registered yet. So that process is starting throughout March here, and finalizing middle school master, and then mid-April we should have a high school master completed. And yeah, it's a complicated process, but it's coming together. It takes a lot of planning. ISASP testing, And ELPA testing currently underway. ISAS will be in April. ELPA testing mostly done by our ESL teachers at the middle school, high school, and elementary. So I know they're working through that, but that's a very lengthy testing process because there's multiple areas that are assessed. So, and then staff attendance at the bottom. Any questions?
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. DeZale?
Without reading everything, some of what we've been working on, or I've even been spending on time on, these guys have hit on with some of the district and math scores, lots of planning, kind of wrapping up the math. Yeah, it's not in the books like Mr. DeZale here said, but in terms of just ordering it, maybe we don't have the check paid for, but doing that, and I actually emailed him about thinking for next year already, because that's kind of once you're through step one where you got to go to, think about what we're going to do next year with our curriculum review cycle. So just spending time on that. The administrative team, these guys have spent a lot of time with making PD plans for next year and finalizing that and coordinating things and using time with the instructional coaches to do that as well, meeting with the AEA. So a lot of talks, even though we want to finish this year strong, when you're kind of in our position, you kind of got to be looking that far out ahead. So really there's a lot of things that are going into planning next year already, or at least those discussions are starting to happen. And then along with that, in terms of staff, and we'll touch a little bit more on that specifically later at the end with new hires, but I do want to appreciate the time the admin team has put in to filling our open positions, because they've done a great job with that. They've done a lot of interviews already, and I think we're at this point right now, you never know how things will change, but they're really ahead of the game on that, so I wanted to thank them for that. And then just in the last month, a lot of work going into the voted PEPL, and just thank you guys. I know each of the board members have done some advocating for that as well, and we had community members and staff members doing that, so it was a team effort, and I just wanted to thank all those who were involved, and there's many people that are unsung that were vital to the effort as well, so thank you for that. Then outside of that, that flipped me and Kendra instantly. That went through, not that we weren't planning, but in terms of the budget and so forth. So just as a reminder, on the 30th, so 2 weeks from today, we'll do our first budget hearing and talk more about that then. Other than that, I don't have a lot extra add at this point that I won't talk about later in the meeting.
Okay, any questions?
I want to say thank you to you, because I think the way you got out in front of this last round, I think you did a tremendous job with Vevel. So I want to say thank you to you for that.
Well, there's a lot of people that helped, so
Yep.
I appreciate it. There were.
But it didn't go unnoticed.
All right. Board committees, policy, finance, and facilities.
Finance, we've met a fair amount recently after a couple of board meetings, some long nights and doing that to prepare for it. I think the fruits of their labor paid off, that we got settled here and really are going to issue contracts about as soon as we can, so I wanted to thank them for that. Policy, we didn't have anything new. Haven't had anything presented. Facilities, I'll probably just email you and Jennifer to see if, and it's not pressing, but sometime before the April meeting, just to go over a few things. Does that work?
Yep.
We need to meet, but I was going to say stick around at the end, but I'll email Tom and Jennifer about that, and we'll set something up. There's a few things we probably should go over now that PEPL passed. So that's all I have for that.
All right. Recognition of excellence.
Yeah, with it being a
Let's go.
snow day today, I'm going to read that for our senior representatives. So, Iowa Vocal Jazz Championships, our high school jazz choir Night Sounds has once again been selected as one of the top 8 2A jazz choirs in Iowa. The Iowa Vocal Jazz Championships is how they recognize those. They will perform and compete on April 1st at Dallas Center Grimes High School in Des Moines. This year's competition includes over 60 groups across Iowa, making it one of the most competitive years yet, and we are honored to be among the top 8 ensembles for 2A. Incredible achievement for our kids. I know they've been putting in a lot of extra time to achieve that, so good for them. Middle school, the Gazette Tribune ran an ad for using newspapers in school. On February 24th, 2026, fifth grade students created the artwork for businesses who sponsored the page. The students whose artwork was chosen are Rachel Soto Pineda, Brinley Abels, Jennifer Ramos Martinez, Penelope Gamer, Aurora Alfaro Barreras, London Lushens, Liliana Cummins, and Abigail Wilson. All conference for boys basketball, first team Alex Kruger, second team Tate Marco, honorable mention Gavin Stanton. Girls basketball, first team Lucy Heitrider, second team Haley Gakey, honorable mention Hadley Creighton. Girls wrestling, first team Cheyenne Williams, Lily Marco, Grace Seiler, Joran Julius. And girls wrestling, honorable mention Sophia Salzman, Kylie Womath, Jaslyn Acevedo. Boys wrestling, first team Aiden Beyer and Tommy Wietzma. Honorable mention Jackson Vandersloot. All academic senior GPA 3.75 or above. For girls basketball, that was Becca Wobler and Hadley Creighton. Boys basketball, Dawson Krakis, Tate Marco, Carter Voss, and Gavin Stanton. Girls wrestling was Grace Seiler. Boys wrestling was Tiffany Torres, the girls wrestling manager. And our February Generals of the Week, on February 6th, elementary, Jada Johnson, middle school, Colby Block, high school, Trexton Parsons, staff, Janelle Jensen, Katie Calling, and Teresa Ruggles. February 13th, elementary, Bennett Treeweiler, middle school, Kinley Egina, high school, Augusto Alfaro Barraras, and staff, Judy Haken. February 20th, elementary, Abigail Lemon, middle school, Molly Voss, high school, Brendan Witham, staff, Caitlin Espy. And the 27th, elementary, Josie Glade, middle school, Presley Marco, high school, Alex Kruger, and staff, Ryan Wiersma. That's our recognition of excellence.
Alrighty, thank you. All right, moving on to discussion items.
So tonight for our curriculum department heads, we have Daryl and Brenda Tucci, and I will let them go from there. They've kind of done a co-head thing. Is that how you'd word it, co-head? Yeah.
On the screen there. You can use this table too, or wherever you're comfortable.
Let's just do it right here so you're not blocking her.
Which one is it?
High school ITTV Cart 1.
Block the TV.
Pictures so you can use whatever space.
We got the whole table. Just cabinets out.
Quick.
Okay, well, we already introduced, and I'm sure you know who we are. We are the co-leaders of the science curriculum this year, and the way that we've done this is that Brenda does the K through 4, and then I kind of go through the 5 through 12 to make sure that we could probably better cover everything. And I don't know how much time I have. I'm used to 46-minute increments. So
I told him we're not going that long.
So just going to very quickly go over some of the objectives that we're going to do tonight. Provide an overview of the key aspects of our science program.
Share successes and challenges in our science program at both the elementary and the secondary level.
Know where our science standards come from and how we implement them.
Understand how we prepare students for standardized tests.
Get some insight into the STEM program.
And look at our ISAPS data from 2025.
Okay, a little bit about our science program. Historically, we've been kind of ahead of the curve, maintaining our scope and sequence, adopting changing standards, going way back into the Dave Keel, Stan Galswick Many of these names are familiar to many of you. Henry Ecoff, Nancy Watterson. We've really, I think, done a pretty good job of keeping up with this over time, and as things change, of course, we have to keep changing with them. Science instruction, Sable Cheating use a variety of strategies in order to touch all different learning styles.
The key components of science instruction, we have adopted the NGSS, the New Generation Science Standards, as our core science curriculum.
Okay, STEM. With the STEM, we have at the elementary STEM carts that have been added at the elementary level. Brenda's going to talk about them in a little bit. And we have what we call for 512 a Teacher Geek STEM activities. We have a large cart of materials and tools, and each grade level 5 through 12 have different activities that we use this for some different STEM activities. It really puts all of our STEM activities in more of an organized place, and we get all our materials from the same location for that. Standardized test preparation. So we write claims and present evidence, and we also do what we call snail questions, which are multiple choice questions that require extra reading and interpretation. Back in the day, back when I started and when many of you were in school, it was rote memorization, A, B, C, D, short answer, but the standardized tests aren't that way. You have to be able to read and interpret in your multiple choice questions, so we try to adapt that to what we do in our system here.
I will go over some highlights for the elementary science program. The science committee is Nicole Rockman, which teaches 4th grade, and myself. It's a smaller group because of the teachers. The core teachers need to be on the math and then the reading, and we just kind of share the other part. Elementary, we are fortunate to be able to teach across the curriculum. We may have a science unit, but also obviously teach in science, but then we could hit it in writing. We could do some activities in math. We could do something in the area of art. A 1st grade highlight obviously is the Monarch Butterfly unit, which I do. Students are able to collect the caterpillar themselves, and then we bring them into the classroom. We're able to give them milkweed. They learn real fast that those little things eat a lot of milkweed, and we have to replenish daily. And then my class has been fortunate to actually see them make the chrysalis, and then about 10 days later see them emerge from the chrysalis. So I think that's really cool for them to do. We're also lucky to have Matt Juergens. He's our Osceola County naturalist, come in and do a mini lesson, and then he will talk about migration a little bit more, and then help them tag the butterflies on the last cycle, which would be in the fall, and then they release them. That's pretty neat. Then the culmination project for that would be an art project where they go ahead and do the details that they can for the different cycles and then make it into a butterfly. Another highlight I'm going to share is Jackie Glade, which is 2nd grade, and in 2nd grade, we're still in the other page. In 2nd grade, Carly Ward covers the sciences, but the neat thing about elementary, we can cover different things ourselves, even if it's not science. And so she did a unit on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and did mini balloons, and then students programmed robots on wheels, and then they did a little mini parade in our classroom, in the 1st grade classrooms. So there's a lot of different things going on in the elementary. The big highlight is the STEM carts, which the foundation awarded me 2 grants. Typically you don't award 2 grants, but it's for K4, and so I was able to buy 5 of those carts. They're pretty heavy duty carts. We want them to be long lasting. On the rotation, if we have inclement weather and need to stay inside, one group may be in the lunchroom, and so we provided these carts to give them not necessarily organized activity. They can be creative and do different things, but it's not just another avenue to be on the computer or to have screen time. And I think those have gone over really well. So that was a $1,000 project itself. Some of the ideas that we got are different different activities. We got magnetic blocks, a variety of those, Lincoln Logs, Magnetiles, Brain Flake, Building Kits, and Magnetic People, just to name a few. Looking at that for $1,000. $1,000 doesn't go far. We're hoping to add more, but the cards themselves for about $450. But we have ideas to add more things, and it's been very positive. Other than that, I'll let you go on with the next part.
Okay, just to go over the 512 science program. Up on the board there are all of the instructors that we have, 5 through 12. So emphasis of instruction is not rote learning, like I mentioned before, like memorizing things. You know, when I started 30-some years ago, that's what we did. We made kids memorize things, but that's really not a lot of learning going on when you do that. So what we do is we are processing data and information in order to make claims and back claims based on evidence. So our standards emphasize being able to explain, being able to use evidence to learn and explain what's going on. Because on the standardized tests, that's what they do. It may be something that they haven't learned, but it might be a graph, it might be a chart. And they have to be able to look at that and be able to explain it. So we try to do as much of that as we can. Be able to descriptively write and explain science information effectively. Again, that's an important part of the ISAFs, and when they get into college, being able to not just say A, B, C, or D, but be able to explain. So, we really emphasize that as well. Be able to rate statements and determine which best explain claims based on evidence. So not the one-word multiple choice questions, but something that they have to read, and it might not be one answer. Pick all the ones that apply. Again, that kind of is what our standardized tests are doing as well. And be able to solve problems in STEM projects, which I'm going to get into here in a little bit. STEM challenges. This is what the kids really like to do. They're being done at each grade level to encourage higher level thinking skills and problem solving with hands-on activities. And the great thing I think about the STEM programs is that sometimes it's the students that aren't as successful maybe in a traditional educational setting really excel in these types of things, and that's what makes it fun. So at the middle school this year, what we did was we used our class time to do our STEM projects, and then during success we had our competitions this year, the finals of each grade level. I know that the high school is kind of in the process of doing this right now. We've completed ours. So during success we had our competitions, and the 5th grade, all right, the rubber band racers, they used the Teacher Geek materials to do that. 6th grade, project launchers, all right, and those are winners for that. In the 7th grade, we built sail cars. This wasn't necessarily with the Teacher Geek materials, but those were our winners there. And then mousetrap cars, being able to get mousetrap car to go far as they can across the gym using the power of a mousetrap. So, we generally take about a week to do these within class, but very well received. Kids are very engaged in that. ISAF's data, we can go on and on about this, but I tried to simplify it as much as I possibly could, try to pick the one thing that summarizes it the quickest. So we test at 5th grade, 8th grade, and sophomore. They do not test every year. So what this graphic is showing us is all the students that were tested in the spring. Our average was 73.28. The state average there is 67.14. So we are ahead of the rest of the state. the low socioeconomic status, it was closer, right? But we were still ahead of the state average, and students on IEPs, we were significantly ahead of the state average there with 26, and the state average is 35. So,
You said that backwards.
what, did I?
You said it backwards.
Okay. All right. You know what I meant. Okay. The high school scores were very good. Our high school was 11 points above the state average for all students. Socioeconomic status, we were ahead by almost 9 percentage points. The middle school, we were a little bit closer. For all students, we were still ahead by 4 percentage points. And the low socioeconomic status, we were right at the state average, slightly below. And I know that all the curricular areas are taking a look at this, because we had kind of similar data across the board there. So that's something that I know that they're going to be looking at, especially for next year, to try to get that bottom one, get that green farther to the right than the state average. So those are some things that we feel that we are doing pretty well as far as our scores go, but there are some things that we definitely can do better and work on. I think our emphasis on the claims, on the snail questions, I think really have helped us preparing these kids for standardized tests. So, conclusion.
We want to say thank you to the SO Education Foundation, our school board, and administration for supporting science education.
And kind of our goals for the future is improve the ISASS scores for all students, and refine and solidify our scope and sequence in our K through 12 science, and I know that that is something that some of the other curricular areas are going to be working on as well. We haven't really looked at it that real closely for the last few years, so next year an emphasis is going to be to try to make sure that we are hitting everything where we're supposed to be and there's not any gaps.
Okay, we appreciate your time. Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anxiety with half your computer leaning off the table. Oh, I just about moved it ahead.
All right, thank you.
Ready? Okay, so moving on to
There now.
FY25 audit report.
This part's really exciting. Normally we would have a copy of the audit to hand out, but they just got it to us on Friday, so next time we will hand out your copy in case you're really waiting to read it. So we finished our FY 25 audit, and it really went very well. Do you want to go to page 7? They just include some financial highlights on there for our total revenues that increased 0.63%, and it's kind of in that second bullet there. I'm not going to read through all of it because it's you can do that later. And total expenditures increased from last year 5.69%. Page 58. This just goes over and shows all of the activity fund, the different clubs and sports that we have. This is just an overview of the money that came in and was spent, and then the balance at the end of the year. Page 59 is really just an overview of all of our funds, revenues, and the different areas that it comes from: property tax, other local things, state sources, federal sources, and then all of the expenditures, they're split out between instruction, support services, capital projects, and long-term debt. So this is just an overview over the last 10 years. And then page 67 is the findings of our audit. Really, we only have 2: segregation of duties, which is always on there. We're a small office and don't have the staff to be able to split out everything, you know, where there's more separation. But we're working on trying to just have Stan approve some things, or, you know, trying to work with our auditors on ways that we can do that with a small office. For the most part, they tell us that it'll stay on there because we just don't have enough people. And then page 69 has the other finding that was on there. I've got to scroll up a little bit. Yep, there we go. It's the 2025G. There were no transactions requiring board approval that had not been approved. And we had approved the listing of the district depositories and the respective limits. However, the June 30, 2025 balance of deposits on hand at one approved depository exceeded the maximum amount specified. This was because of our SAVE bond that we received in June, and we hadn't spent any of the money yet, so we just didn't up the maximum that we are allowed to have at the bank that it was at. So that was an oversight on our part, so we just didn't do that. It really was because of the timing that we received the funds. But those are the only 2 findings that they had. So any questions? I know you didn't get to look at this really ahead of time. If you have questions, you can always ask at another time. So this is on our website, and then it's also on the state auditor's website too, in case someone's really excited to read it.
This is the first time in I don't know how many years.
Quite a few years that we've
gotten it
we
back
haven't
to
had to do
time.
an extension, so I'm
Okay.
very, very thankful.
We've gotten our work in, but you're kind of at the mercy when the auditors finish, and it's supposed to be done by March 31st. So that's why we put it on here without the printout yet, because otherwise you have to apply for an extension. So we don't need to. Last year, we went over this in July, just as a comparison point.
Yeah.
That's when we received it, so. And some of that's because when we get stuff in time, they try and do yours first, and Kendra and Chrissy have done a good job of getting things turned in right away, so.
Yeah, our field work was back in October, so, which went well, and it just takes them time to get through everything.
All right, any other questions on that? Okay, moving on to 2-minute board policy and finance moment.
So I knew we had some other things discussed tonight, so I thought I'd just make one thing simple. I know at the beginning of the year when we were talking about certified enrollment and being down, and I didn't have hard data to show, but just said, you know, this is a conversation happening all over. Well, in the last 2 weeks here, the Review ran an article. The graph looks much better in the paper than it does online. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to read, but it's in this box on the side. But if you looked at it, pretty much all of the public schools in the, sorry, I'm the private one, the public schools in their membership area, service area, whatever you want to call it, are down in enrollment by varying degrees. In conversations, I know that the entire Siouxland, every school was down this year. War Eagle, I think we had all of us down except for one. So my point with that is bringing this up is, yes, we're having our own discussions about this, but it's also, when I say it's not just a simply Ocheyedan problem, what I mean is it's occurring all over, kind of something. It's easy to take Stan at his word, but here's data to kind of back that up, that schools are having this conversation all over. It's hard just to compare raw numbers, because you got to remember a 24 at, I'm just looking here at Central Lyon looks different than the 24 at George Little Rock because they have a different population base, right? So they don't show percentages, it's just raw numbers. But if you look through here, there's, we were concerned about being 47 down with our certified enrollment, but there's other schools. In Okoboji was down almost 62 students. Sheldon was down 35. Just pointing out a few random ones here, right? Sioux Center was down 32. MOC was down 39. So that's what I mean. This is a conversation happening all over. And I don't have any words of wisdom with this other than just kind of showing, like, backing up, like, this is something that's happening all over, right? Especially in Northwest Iowa right now. And that's really my only point with that, so. Questions or discussion points or thoughts?
Yeah, and you had shared once, how many school districts in Iowa will be on that?
Yes. So with what they settled, so there's 325 school districts in Iowa, so I'm doing this from memory here. With the 2% SSA, there's 199 on the budget guarantee. So that means with a decrease in enrollment, even getting 2% more money, you have less than that we've been on before. To me, that says that's at least 199 that are down in enrollment, but there's more than that because there's some that could be down in enrollment, but the 2% is enough to make them break even. So, and I don't know that number, but you're going to at least throw on another 20 or 30 is my guess with that. So when you're looking across the state right now, we're talking well over 200 schools were down in enrollment this past year from the year before. Statewide, it's been a little bit since I looked at this number, but if I remember right, statewide in public schools, the enrollment was down 7,400 students. Because I think private schools, it was up 1,500, so the net statewide was 5,900 if I remember right. But in public schools, the enrollment was down 7,400. And that's why they pointed that out. It's not just as simple as saying, oh, we have ESAs and these kids left public schools and went to private schools, because that's not. Their enrollment didn't go up the same, right? Their enrollment went up some, but that's not where everyone's leaving. Some of it's just we don't have as many kindergartners coming in, right? The birth rates, things like that, and then people leaving the state for whatever reason. That's some of it as well.
Is there any state-by-state data? Like, I mean, is that nationally what's going on? Like you said, is it
There
smaller
probably
families?
is. Not that I've seen at that level, but doesn't mean there isn't any.
Just curious, is it an
Yeah.
Iowa thing, or is it
I don't know that answer.
South Dakota? Everybody's just smaller family, less kids. I don't know.
It's a good question. If I see it, I'll try and remember to.
The
Just stay
dollar
on
doesn't
top.
stretch as far as it used to.
Well, I know. I mean, it just
Yeah, I think all the above probably, right?
because it doesn't necessarily mean that 5,900 left the state. It's just graduating class of 100, incoming class of 50.
Correct.
Yep.
That's some of it too. Absolutely, it is. Yep. I mean, we've seen that even locally at times.
Yeah, right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, well, thanks for sharing that. So moving on to new business, acceptance of abstract of election.
So it was official devoted PEPAL, but we do have to officially approve the abstract from background things, how this goes. The attachment, it just shows the certified vote, how many yay, how many nay, and what the ballot measure was. The Board of Supervisors that was there and Rochelle Van Tilburg sign off of it. We have to approve that and accept it, and then we send it on to the Department of Management to verify. Or to verify wouldn't be the word, to approve, and then we get the funding.
All right, well, I'll make the motion to approve the abstract of the election for the VEPL.
1 second.
All right, it's been moved in seconded to accept the acceptance of abstract of election as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of new contracts.
So Kane, obviously a name we're familiar with to fill some coaching positions. The others would be new teaching positions for us. And after this meeting, as of tonight, we would currently have 2 open positions, right? Correct. At the elementary. Doesn't mean we don't have candidates or things set up for that, but just at the present time. So I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add on any of the new candidates other than being excited.
Yeah, super excited. Great people, all with ties locally. So, that speaks to the stickiness of them being here long term. That's always our hope when we hire people, but we know life happens. So yeah, just really excited about the group of people, high quality people that are gonna do good things
This is
for our
their
kids.
first year teaching jobs.
For Hunter and Jace, yes. So they're both coming out of school. Jace is graduated at semester. He's doing a long-term subbing role right now, and then moving up to Northwest Iowa. Hunter is a student teacher for us right now in the middle school and has done a great job. Peyton taught for a semester in Worthington and then ended up moving out to Wyoming, just life-changing event type things, and then is now moving back to the area. Actually coached with her dad in Worthington, so know the family, and yeah. Good people. Excited
Good.
about all of our candidates. So. Kane, high school graduate. Great guy.
Yeah, well,
Just graduated for us.
that's great.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the new contracts.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the new contracts as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of summer school program.
So we annually approve this. I will let Mr. DeZale here speak. It's pretty straightforward.
It is pretty straightforward. We made a change last year to consolidate our Jumpstart program from 3 weeks to 2 weeks in an effort to stay off of the activities dead week, for families to be able to take vacations and not have to worry about being back. So that's going to continue. We've had a lot of success in terms of attendance and those kind of things, offering our summer school program as a preschool year option as opposed to continuing the school year. Talking to area principals, there's a lot of burnout's not the right word, but just they struggle to get the attendance that we've had when they continue it, beginning of June, some of those kind of things. So we feel like this has really benefited us. I know specifically last year we had a few students that were new to our district, and one of them came to our summer school program and really helped the transition into our school year, and now is flourishing pretty well. When previously at the previous school they had recommended retention, and now we're seeing often at grade level, or most of the time at grade level, that specific student. So it's been a good program for us, and so that's why we're proposing to keep it the same. One change that we did talk about, Stan and Kendra and I talked about, was upping our rate of pay. It hasn't been changed. I think we talked for about 5 years, and so upping that a little bit for our certified and classified staff that is willing to come in for those couple of weeks in the summer. So we're proposing to make it $35 an hour for teachers and $25 an hour for the support staff that comes in and helps. So previously it was 30 and 20. So, and then we list a lot of the services that we use there, and kind of how we assess, and we try and take into account missing skills and gaps in learning from before, and trying to address those as best we can. But yeah, it's been a good program for us. So.
All right. Any other questions on that? motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve the summer school program as presented.
Second.
all right, so moved and seconded to approve the summer school program as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of fireworks at baseball game.
Speaking with Mrs. Elster on this, they're interested in doing this again. They don't have a date. Kind of hard to think about when we just had a blizzard and how many mile-an-hour winds that we're going to do fireworks coming up here but looking at doing that again on a date to be determined, but in order to move forward, they do need permission from the school to do that.
So is this just looking for us to approve it?
Us to approve it, yep, yep,
No funds or anything?
correct. Yes, they take care of, the Friends of SO take care of that, but for policy to blow fireworks on the school grounds, they need permission.
Make a motion to approve the fireworks at the baseball game.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the fireworks at the baseball game at a date to be determined. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of forgiving missed time for seniors.
So this is on here and put it on here before we knew we wouldn't have school today. But at this point in the year, usually if we've missed more days, kind of have a plan for what the seniors have to and don't have to make up, just so that they know going into it as they start, graduation and things like that. So at this point, if we'd have no determination from today, but if we'd have any days that we have to tack on at the end of the year, I would recommend that we approve excusing the seniors from those and keep their last day as currently presented, because there's nothing for them to make up as of right now.
And that's typically we've done that.
Yeah, if it was a year where we had already missed like 10 days, we knew we were gonna make up a handful, you could say, hey, we're gonna have the seniors make up 5 more, even though they're, like, you can do that. At this point, we don't need to, right? You can try to do it far enough so people can make plans and things like
Right.
that.
I'll make a motion to approve the forgiving missed time for seniors.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve of forgiving missed time for seniors. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries.
I think that should be approved all but Tate.
Consider approval of sharing agreement for librarian.
So this does not come with operational sharing dollars. Librarian is not one of those positions. And with Lisa taking on, for this current school year, she's librarian and took on the tag responsibilities. She's been here most often, but then she's been the librarian of record to oversee and do what's required from like state reporting side of things with HLP. So looking to continue it. This is the agreement we had placed in this year. This was the big change before. We had her there a day or two a week and shared, but now she's here basically full time, and then they pay us a stipend, and then she oversees things and is their librarian of record for Harris Lake Park. So we'd look to continue that.
So it's nothing new. This is something she's been doing.
Yep, she did it this past year. Yep, this was the first, we shared before, but this was the first year we've done it in this format.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the sharing agreement for our librarian.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the sharing agreement with librarian with HLP as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of AEA purchasing agreement.
We've done this for years, but in order to partake in that, we have to have board approval. And some of the things that, if it comes through the AEA, they're able to deliver their products, we get that through the AEA purchasing agreement. And it talks about what the case per delivery, but anything not spent on that is rebated to the school. So this is something we approve annually. We can't partake in it without having board approval.
All right, any questions on that?
Make a motion to approve the AEA purchasing agreement.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the AEA purchasing agreement as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of Visser Brothers Plumbing and Heating Pay Application Number 1 for the middle school ERV project.
So Visser Brothers, if you remember, is the one who we accepted the bid for to do the middle school ERV, the energy recovery and ventilators project this summer. And this would be to get started to order supplies and things like that. John Buter is who our contact is through EDA, the engineering firm that oversees this. And he said they've been very responsive and good to start. And so he recommended making Pay App 1 to start in preparation. And really, 2 months from now, we're going to be pretty close to getting rolling on this project anyway. It's right around the corner.
Is there a timeline on this?
So we're hoping to start almost right after students and staff are done. And then they have it completed by, I don't remember the actual date, July, whatever that was off the top of my head. And John said he thought that was conservative in terms of long. Does that make sense? That
Yep.
they could have it done ahead of time. Ideally, might even have everything done at the end of June, just depending on how everything lines up perfectly, you know what I mean?
But I assume this is heating, cooling, right?
It helps, yeah, we'll be able to run some cooling capacities, but it helps with like recirculating the air, taking the humidity out of that, and providing some efficiencies to the existing system. Right out front, straight out, like behind that chain link fence, that's the one machine, and then the other one's kind of right next to the greenhouse behind the, they're gonna pull it up anyway, but the FFA, the garden plot there, it's right behind there. A lot of people don't realize it's there because you just don't see it, but they're the exact same units to run the middle school. That's what's getting replaced.
You're talking about the belt squeaker's gonna get replaced, huh?
Correct. That's where that comes from, so hopefully you shouldn't hear that anymore.
One thing I just popped in my head, is there a service agreement with this, or will there be one?
To service it after it's in
Right,
place?
yeah.
Yes, we'll do that that'll be part of the agreement with Climate Systems.
Okay.
Yes, they do have filters on here. We've already asked that question. It's a little different filter system than what we currently have, and it's more accessible, and so that would be part of the rotation as well when Climate comes to replace and clean the screens and things like that. Yep.
Do they put, so like, just say they don't get it done by the time school starts next year. Is there any effect to the school if this isn't done?
Well, ideally, then they wouldn't get full payment for it until the work's done.
I'm just saying, like, how does, like, say, it doesn't necessarily affect the cooling, like,
Oh, that one
Like,
does it.
you know, we're gonna have students and then if that's the case, is there like you say, not full payment or demurrage or anything like that in this or not?
Yeah, there would be like, that's what we're talking about, the next one for a completely different project, but paying retainage. Thank you, I couldn't think of the
Yeah.
word. So there would be retainage if they don't finish it. They don't get that unless they get it done ahead of time. So there would be a retainage piece.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, any other questions?
That's what you were asking, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, would there be a motion to approve?
Make the motion to approve the Visser's Brothers Plumbing and Heating Pay Application number 1 for the middle school ERV project.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the Visser Plumbing Heating pay application number 1 for the middle school ERB project in the amount of $10,670. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of L&L Builders pay pay application, middle school, high school project 2025.
So this is just for the middle school, high school portion. The retainage, as they have everything signed up, that they have done and signed off and Site Logic's approved on, so it's their final pay request for the middle school. Middle school, high school portion, not the elementary portion. We're still waiting for a little work and fine tuning on some parts of the HVAC over there. But this is for the high school to middle school part. Kind of getting at what you're asking for the previous one.
Yep. And you're all good with the middle
Yep,
school, high
with this,
school?
yeah, with the middle school, high school portion we are,
Yep.
yep.
All right,
I'll make a motion to approve the L&L Builders pay application for middle school, high school project 2025.
One second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve approval of the L&L Builders pay application, middle school, high school project 2025 in the amount of $72,354.50. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right. The next item is go into closed session for superintendent evaluation.
Does anyone want to use the restroom first
Yeah, I do.
before we go into that?